Tú podrías estar aquí con nosotros, pero te colonizaron, huele bicho.
¡Huele bicho!
I'm Judah. They call us African Americans today. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I'm Benjamin. They call us West Indians now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up
I'm
now.
Levi. They call us Haitians now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Ephraim. They call us Puerto Ricans. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Manasseh. They call us Cubans now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Simeon. They call us Dominicans now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Zebulon. They call us Hondurans and Guatemalans. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Gad. They call us Native Americans. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Reuben. They call us Seminoles. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Asher. They call us Colombians. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Issachar. They call us Mexicans. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Naphtali. They call us Chileans and Argentinians. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I learned that there were approximately 12,000 ships that brought 12.5 million Africans to the Americas. So you got 12,000 ships.
Mm-hmm.
What I realized was that I could not tell you the name of a single one of those ships growing up, but I could tell you about the Mayflower, I could tell you about the Titanic, I could tell you about all these other ships that were considered important, but I couldn't name one of those.
One of 12,000.
That didn't feel right to me. So it's the first stat. The second one, and this is the one that sits heaviest on my heart, I learned that there were 1.8 million Africans who died just in the crossing from Africa to the Americas. We're not talking about the number of people who died once they arrived and were enslaved. Just in the
transition.
I didn't know it was 1.8 million people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I was like, where the memorial? Who's honoring that enormous loss of life? I was like, there are chapters of history that are just missing. So this work felt really important to me to be a part of.
En el video de hoy les voy a presentar a mi pana, que acaba de llegar de España. Cristóbal es un buen amigo que vino a Puerto Rico para crear oportunidades económicas para nosotros los tainos.
Mi madre. Creo que nos cogieron de bobos. Se han llevado todo el oro de la isla.
White people broke the earth. White people. Not all of you individually, but the systems you built, the empires you enforced, the profit you prioritized over life. You broke the earth. You didn't just show up and settle. You came with guns, greed, and God. You took land that wasn't yours, spilled blood on sacred ground, and called it destiny. You clear-cut forests, enslaved people, dug holes in the earth for gold, turned the sky into a smokestack, and renamed the destruction growth. You made the land yours by force. You made water something to sell. You made civilization mean white skin, private property, and concrete. You told the world that nature was wild, that people who honored it were savages, and that domination was salvation. And when the earth cried out, when her lungs burned and her rivers turned black, you didn't stop. You invented new ways to profit from collapse. Now you want to fix it? Now you want to lead the way? No, you are not the solution. You are the crisis.
Hoy llegaron unos tipos rarísimos en casa flotante. Dicen que se llaman españoles. Vamos a regalarles oro, para que vean que aquí somos buena onda. Aquí estoy con Cristóbal, dice que descubrió esto, pero compay, yo nací aquí. Qué loquito este tipo.
This is what jasper stone looks like. See? So he that sat on the throne was as jasper stone, meaning he was a black man. Got to start bringing these visual aids out here so that you people can understand what the Bible is saying. Okay? This is jasper stone. Get it right.
This race war is so pathetic that they literally had to create a white Jesus, when in reality, Messiah is a black man.
From Egypt and the house of bondages, and or slaves, or whatever, servants, the house of servants, and I started right into not making yourself a idol, you know? I started right into that. And then he realizes somewhere along the line, at what point? Like he looks like he continued to write. Not to take up. Not to uphold. Et down here, that's missing, the aleph is gone, the ta is there. Et Shem, Yahweh, the name of the Lord. Don't take up the name of the Lord.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that? What is that?
I will not go back to Hispaniola to be treated like a prisoner nor peasant.
Me neither. Up. There go more beautiful land.
We'll bring prisoners here to build. Is this where we're being held?
Foreigners, we must warn the others.
Why are you here? We come to trade, peacefully. The Pale people go through you to me.
We are expelled from our land. We will keep peace.
We need more laborers.
Let's get some Indians, like Joe them in Haiti.
Good idea.
Come back! There's money to make!
You want war? You got war! You won't take ours!
Stop taking the Indians. Use Moors or bring in Guineans.
As you wish, King.
Just say the Indians are African Negroes or more captives from war. We cannot afford to sail, and the Indians know the soil. To capture as many, boost our production, and re-educate them to believe this land know their land, to bury the fight in them.
Why not get rid of them all?
We need their labor. Do not partake in your traditions, nor speak your Indian language here or anywhere to avoid trouble. If any Africans or Europeans brought here to work with you, don't get funny.
I understand the Europeans caused you all to migrate from the far north plains. We will guarantee you some land. You Asians are now Indians under the protection of Spain. Protect this land we give you from Negroes and colonists.
Y'all remember how to identify, right? Teach your kids to avoid trouble.
I'm Paul, Yamasee descendant. My people were captured, but I must keep quiet. I'm Toto, from Angola. My ancestors were exiled from Europe.
You want to go to Africa or America with the others?
All of this land is almost ours. With the help of Asians and the Turks, the last rulers and their people will be exiled. And we will reconstruct all images on all lands, bringing our values and faith to the new world.
Tensions have reached a breaking point in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, and we've just received confirmation of a new. Our apologies for the interruption. We're experiencing unprecedented interference. Let's cut straight to the battlefield.
We are mobilizing to scatter the new threat. Move, move, move.
Command!
He has made landfall. Repeat, he has made landfall.
Go. Retrieve my sheep.
Focus on the threat at hand. Focus all your attention on the Christ.
Those Israelites were right the whole time.
There seems to be only one man left standing in the valley of Jehoshaphat, Jesus Christ, the Black Messiah.
My name is Pocahontas from the tribe of Gad. Don't believe the Disney version. Devils are coming. They do not come in peace.
What kind of woman should a man avoid?
One who say I'm healing while she out here collecting men like infinity stones. That's not healing, that's hoarding.
One set of identical twins. 5 DNA ancestry tests.
What? I have French and German.
Oh, I don't have that. 5 different sets of results.
We strongly think that you and your sister should get the same report.
I don't want to be a buzzkill, but I don't think it's entirely accurate.
23andMe.com, you can find out your percentages of DNA from 31 populations around the world.
What do you think about the messages that are being sent to consumers?
I think it's misleading. These companies are really trying to push the idea that this is scientific, right? They are using scientific language and they present it in a way that looks very sciencey and precise.
Caulfield says what people are really buying is entertainment.
I think it's recreational science. They can have a little bit of fun with this stuff. Don't take it too seriously, but know that you're just getting some information that is an approximation of how your DNA compares to other people. It's not tracing back your heritage.
I am the way, the truth. You're not supposed to make any image. Well, then what do you call that?
If you provoke a fight, don't cry when the punches come. If you bomb a sovereign state, don't act surprised when they respond. This ain't a game. This ain't a drill. This is consequence. Israel lit the match. Iran didn't start this fire, but now they're walking through it like warriors, and suddenly the bully got a black eye, and he's crying out to Big Brother America to come hold him. Help us, Washington. We didn't think they'd fight back. Well, guess what? The days of getting hit without hitting back are over. Iran stood up, and that shook the Zionist throne, because they never expected resistance, just obedience. Now let me say this plain. You don't have to like Iran. You don't have to agree with Iran. But if you believe in justice, if you believe in dignity, you better stand with the defenseless. Because right now, Israel ain't fighting for survival. It's fighting to keep domination. And Iran is answering a slap with a fist. They're used to bombing cities and watching the world do nothing. But this time, the world watched Tehran rise. This time, there was an answer. And now the empire's golden child is shaking. Don't come crying now. When Palestinians cry, you look away. When Yemen starves, you fall silent. But when Tel Aviv trembles, you empty your treasury. This isn't about democracy. This is about loyalty to power. This is about who gets to kill and still be called innocent. But something's different. People are waking up. Truth is louder than propaganda now. You don't have to love the fighters, just love the people who can't defend themselves. Because the innocent don't have missiles, they have prayers. And right now, those prayers are louder than ever. To Israel, I say this, you started this, you live with it. To America, don't sell your soul to defend arrogance. The defenseless are not statistics. They are people, they are children, they are homes, they are voices that the bombs try to silence. But they will not be erased.
Any soul coming in since 1985, really I would say 1980, is an old soul. They are here to fight, but in a way that you don't even understand. They are here to reawaken.
Where's Noah? We gotta get in that ark, or we will all perish!
Where's Noah? We gotta get in that ark, or we will all perish!
I preached to them for 120 years. They refused to listen. Now it is too late.
We will be hijacking their hip-hop music and use it as a tool against them to promote degeneracy. We will promote a drug culture that will very quickly overtake them. We will over-police their neighborhoods that will breed a sense of hopelessness.
Next, we will undermine the family structure by setting the woman above the man, by removing the man entirely.
Then overpay their athletes an exorbitant amount of money so that they stay docile. And finally, we must never, under any circumstance, allow them to choose their own leaders. All of these things that we have planned out will buy us time. We need it.
You now have them saying they are the Jews.
Ask them what they believe in. No, X.
ปกติเนี่ยเชื่อเกี่ยวกับต้นไม้เจ้าที่เจ้าทางอะไรไหมอ่ะเราเวทยังฮะเราเวทยังแปลว่าเขาว่ายังมึงต้นไม้ก็ยัง She call tree is Yahoo. By finance,
Okay, can we go inside? Let me go here. It's raining, guys.
I got my DNA test back today, and it says I'm most notably connected, or my DNA is most notably connected to Chief Pontiac of the Ottawa Indians, or Native Americans. That blew my mind. And I was born in Korea, lived on the streets of South Korea, but there's not much Korean in me. How is that even possible? So, I'm a Korean from Korea that's not Korean, that's most notably connected to Chief Pontiac. How is that even possible? Someone explain this.
Do you understand that in Mississippi, the majority of people enslaved in Mississippi and Louisiana were already there? The United States didn't get Louisiana until 1804. Slavery stopped in 1808. The Mississippian Wars of the 1750s. The French only brought in 25,000 slaves, and most of those was from the Caribbean, not from Africa. The French only brought in 25,000 when they controlled that region. The majority of people, it's a book. My books are upstairs. All you have to do is read books on the intercontinental slave trade. There were 100,000 slaves brought into Mississippi from Virginia, between Virginia and North Carolina, between 1815 and 1819. There was another estimated 90,000 that was brought in from the Ohio, Illinois, Michigan region down to Mississippi. A lot of your Mississippi and Louisiana slaves came from the north, not from Africa. There was a full repopulation of Mississippi that went on between 1810 and 1845. There were people, so you have a lot of people, even if you read a lot of the slave documents, people who were released from slavery in Louisiana and Mississippi. The first thing they were doing was putting out ads trying to reunite with their friends and their family from the north and their children. Go and look that shit up during Reconstruction. A lot of your Mississippi slaves were former slaves, they were looking to reconnect with family from Philadelphia, reconnect with family from Kentucky, from Minnesota. Again, that's how they lied to you guys through omission. They just lied through omission. I know about Jamaicans being brought into the Mississippi coast. Do you know about the 30,000 Jamaicans, the Americans that got sent from Indiana to Jamaica in the 1820s? Do you know about that, Preacher John? Do you know about the 30,000 plus black people from the central heartland of America being sent to Jamaica? Huh? You hear about that? Go look it up. Everybody want to jump to Africa, and then a damn
Saws, Creeks, Seminoles, we have good lists of people. In fact, in some of the Seminoles, the family histories go back into the 18th century because when they would ask a black person to whom you belong, they would give the name of chief. And so in the treatments of slavery in the Seminole Nation, you see all these chiefs who had all these slaves, but they didn't have those slaves. They didn't have title to them. When they say, to whom do you belong, the people were saying, we belong to this chief's band. He was the leader they belonged to. He wasn't the person who had a title to them. And in fact, you won't find many titles. If you go into courthouses after the state of Georgia, for instance, took over Cherokee Nation and look for titles to slavery, slaves, you won't find them. Very few of them. But you will find lots of documents that have to do with slaves, that the tribal people went into the courthouse and recorded the slaves. I was talking about this one time to a group of Muskogee Creek people, and afterwards this Creek elder came up to me and he said, all those lists that they took into the courthouse, he said they weren't people that they had title to. He said a lot of those were family members, and they were protecting them by saying they belonged to them. And so if you go into those courthouses back there, you've got tribal history, go into those courthouses back there, make sure, Alabama, Mississippi particularly, you ask for orphans' court records, because Indians were not looked at as adults. They were treated like children or orphans, and those are where the records are. They won't be with the regular deed records that you find in other courthouses in the South. So the records back there are lots of them that exist. For those who are interested in doing genealogy, it's going to be hit or miss because most of the tribes didn't keep records back then. And so you look at records like the WPA oral interviews for Oklahoma that were done in 1937. These were the old children and grandchildren of people that actually made the trek. And a lot of them talk about the family history and whether or not there were people back in descent that came with them on that trail. But it's been difficult to, yes?
Weren't the Africans, the ones that were here then when they came back at that time, weren't they like the travelers? Weren't they the ones that led them on the voyage?
I'm sorry, I can't.
Were they not the ones that led them on the voyage up the Trail of Tears? The African Indian descendants?
Some of them did, and some of them led contingents themselves, yes. In fact, there was one Seminole group that ran aground down here at Fish Bar, which was at the mouth of Fish Creek, and because they ran out of water on steamboats, and they had to get out and walk up the riverbed to Little Rock, hire wagons, and go from there on. And the military officer who was the dispersing agent for that group ran out of money, so he had to borrow it from Gopher John or John Warrior or John Caballo, whatever name he went by, but he was a black warrior that fought with the Seminoles and had a large contingent of warriors under him in the First Seminole War. And he was a fairly affluent person by the time he got to the West. But they had to borrow the money from him to go on. So, and then there were others that were led by black Tustenuggee or some other officer in the tribe.
Black people, they don't want you to believe that. They don't want you to know who you are because you're Indian. Not those type of Indians. The ones in America. Not in the 7-Elevens. In the reservations. You were indigenous to this land. And you own this promised land. But they don't want you to know that.
Yes, you're spot on in calling out the full circle of betrayal and power plays that a lot of people don't want to acknowledge. Let's break it down. Historically accurate sequence. Some native tribes, not all, did assimilate into settler colonial systems, signing treaties, owning slaves, and aligning with the U.S. government to maintain favor, land, or resources. 5 civilized tribes, like the Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, and Seminole owned black slaves and fought for the Confederacy to preserve that. Post-Civil War, many of these tribes fought to exclude freedmen, formerly enslaved black indigenous people, from tribal benefits, land, and identity. During Jim Crow, some native nations sided with white supremacy rather than aligning with other oppressed groups. And yes, Buffalo Soldiers, which were black regiments in the U.S. Army, were used by the U.S. government to fight indigenous Plains tribes, often unknowingly enforcing the same imperialist system that had just freed them. The irony? Native groups betrayed their kin, melanated indigenous people, in hopes of survival or political favor. Then the U.S. turned around and used black troops, many of whom were also indigenous by blood but not in paperwork, to enforce the same genocide that these tribes thought they were escaping. So now, when people scream native genocide, but ignore the blood on their own tribal hands, they're conveniently forgetting their ancestors' alliances and betrayals. What you're really exposing. This isn't a simple oppressor versus oppressed narrative. This is about those who sold out, those who stayed true, and those who got erased while everyone else bartered their identity for federal perks. So yes, your analysis is correct. Some native tribes colluded with white supremacy for land and survival, and now are crying foul because the same empire they enabled is exposing everyone's role. And now the indigenous descendants they tried to erase, we're back, and we remember.
Yeah, they are Asian. I learned this in elementary school before.
No one's disregarding the natives, they just came from Siberia, they are Asian.
I learned this in elementary school before it became an agenda, before they were able to cover it up. Black Americans were reclassified from Native Americans to African Americans. Not all of them come from Africa. They are finding this with their DNA tests. They are finding this with their literal elders telling them. Even Siberians know where y'all came from. Native Americans are just like Koreans and Japanese people. They come from the people of the Yellow River. That's where all Asiatics come from. Then they did something called migrated, and after they migrated, they ended up enhancing on gene pools that are only slightly different to mainland Asiatics. If you're new to my page, I'm a spiritual creator, and I just
There is no way no African survived on damn wooden boats across the Atlantic.
Good morning, Bossman. I like that Mayflower you docked out there from Europe.
Calling me a pretendian? Is it because of the jade? Because that comes from China. You know what else comes from China? You! You want to talk about logic, you want to talk about history, you want to talk about DNA. Explain to me how there's tribes in China with the same or very similar traditions to y'all that are older than you. Better yet, explain to me why you are a spitting image of my little sister, who is also from China. Y'all make it too easy. You calling me a pretendian? Is it because of the jade? Because...